Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Zero Builds an Empire in The Last Federation. This is a game made by Arcen Studios. It's a neat little 4X type game, but it's a 4X where you're not playing as an empire. You're not playing as a power. You're playing as kind of the power behind the throne. It's rather interesting, so let's hop into it here. I will be going through the quick start, which means we'll have the tutorial enabled. So you guys will be able to learn along with me how to play this game. We're going to keep the strategic difficulty on normal, and the combat difficulty on hard, just because I find the combat a little bit too easy in this game, at least from what I've played so far. I haven't put in a ton of time on this game yet, but I'm also doing that because I want the combat to kind of be a last resort. That seems more like the way to do things, to me personally. So without further ado, let's move on. I am the last of the murdered race of the Hydrals. My countrymen were the dictators of the solar system, so we kinda had it coming. Yes, that is me above, and you are me. This is our story. And you, me, whatever. This just looks awesome. I was the sole survivor thanks to a renegade mission I undertook, betraying my race to bring spacefaring technology to our potential rivals. My ultimate goal? The creation of a peaceful, unified federation of planets. Only then can we be safe from the kinds of atrocities my race committed, and the kinds that were committed against us. Naturally, upon my crash landing at this planet, I was placed in captivity. Having no concept of my strength, they did not realize I was merely waiting. I waited for years. Stardate, first, Proto 3000. My dream of a universal federation is as alive as ever, and now the Acutians have finally gotten themselves into orbit. After spending so much time with me as a peaceful captive, they were ill-prepared for my escape. I have commandeered the first prototype executor, and now the Acutians are in hot pursuit. The Acutians are still in the process of ramping up their space industry, so that gives me a short window of opportunity. But soon their mechanical CEOs will be looking to make planetary acquisitions. These dangerous, amoral robots destroyed the last remnants of my race after the Evox almost wiped us out. Having them as my enemy was a given, I think. Here they come. I outclass this force so severely that it will be almost impossible to lose, so now is a good time to put my ship through its paces. But I still have to be careful. If they manage to take out my ship, I will be just as dead now as later. Welcome to combat. It's always your lonely flagship, plus whatever NPC's allies you can muster, versus an indeterminate number of foes. Combat is turn-based with everyone moving and acting at the same time, after you give your ship its orders. Your first order of business is to give your ship a movement order. To figure out where the enemy is, you'll want to use the minimap, upper right hand corner, pan your view around, WASD, or arrow keys, and zoom in and out, mouse wheel or page up and page down. Alright, so let's see, where are the enemies? So we have two of these shieldy guys and two of these unshieldly little dudes. So let's start heading down to kill them. Now it's time to attack. I promise I won't bug you constantly, but in this first battle there are a few things to point out. Look at the bottom of your screen. You have some new options. First of all, there are 3 different weapon choices down there, and there are multiple attack modes too. Hold fire, auto fire, select targets, etc. Choosing the right weapon and the best attack mode is a big part of winning battles. Hover over enemy ships to see what weapons have the highest DPS, damage per second, against them. This battle is dead simple, but future ones will not be, so use this time to get comfortable dominating these lesser foes. Important, you are currently in auto fire mode. Unless you change this, then your ship will always pick its own targets to fire at. Best ones based on your selected weapons, regardless of where you click. Clicking just confirms your orders. If you want to attack a specific ship, switch to Select Targets mode. It's one of the buttons in the bottom left. Alright, and we will be doing that because it's best just to, in most games really, just to focus your DPS on one target until they're dead. Because if you split your damage between 2 different targets, you aren't really reducing their combat capability in most games. You're just, leaving 2 targets at half health but full combat capability until you manage to kill one of them. So let's go over here. Oh wow, come on. Go over this way. Come on. Die. There we go. Got the first one. Oh look, there's some escape pods up here. Let's go grab those. And we're going to actually leave it on auto fire for the time being. Maybe we can take out some of these little interceptor guys. Zoom in on the combat here so you guys can see it. Yeah, okay, managed to take out a couple of them. So the next closest guy is this shieldy guy over here, I'm thinking. So we'll need the energy blaster for him. Set him as our target. Check out the top of your screen. Objectives! Most battles have a single objective, but that objective may involve multiple parts. This particular battle has 2 objectives, either of which you can choose. If you choose to destroy the enemy flagships, you'll gain some currency. You can identify flagships by the fact that they are quite large, and usually there is at least one chasing you. Hover over them to be sure if you like. Alternatively, if you choose to instead dock with the science lab, then you can end the combat relatively peacefully. You'll give them some text that will make them stronger. Is that smart? And they will like you a lot better. That part definitely sounds good. To dock with a lab, just fly over to it and wait. Your tractor beams will lock on and take care of the rest. A lot of missions have completely optional side objectives that you can take or ignore. If you destroy civilian or military buildings, there are consequences, helpful or harmful, depending on circumstances, but the battle keeps going until your primary objectives are reached. Okay, so let's just keep chasing this guy. Oops, I keep doing that. Shoot him. How close are his shields to going down? He's got 161,000 shields left, so probably one more volley of the energy blaster, and then we can switch over to something a little more powerful. The enemy shields are down! Up until now, you've been attacking this enemy's shields, so the best weapon for the job was the one that does particular damage against shields, or which has generally the highest overall damage rate, DPS. But now the shields are down, and you're going to be hitting the hull of the ship. So the ideal weapon to use against this enemy probably just changed. Different hulls have different strengths and weaknesses. Yep. Alrighty, now we're going to keep going this way, and we're going to hit him with the gravity lance. I really like the gravity lance in this. It really reminds me of like the old Star Trek The Next Generation phasers. And The Next Generation is my personal favorite Star Trek. So come on, let's kill him. There we go. Alrighty, where is one of the other guys I need to kill? There's him there. Are they both down there? Alright. Let's start heading down there. We'll switch to auto fire and we'll switch to the minigun because that's the best against these little guys. Alright, keep going. Oh yeah. Flagship power management unlocked. I swear, this is the last time I'll interrupt you during this battle. But now that you're getting a few turns in, there's one more bit that you probably ought to know. It's time to give you direct control over power distribution to your 3 subsystems. Increasing power to your weapons gives you higher damage output as well as longer range. Increasing power to your shields gives you faster shield regen and makes your shields more resistant to shots that hit them. Increasing power to your engines gives you faster movement, better turning arcs, and a further distance that you can move per turn. To set your power levels, just click the various bars or use hotkeys. There are instructions in the tooltips. However, during each turn your ship automatically changes power based on context. Let's suppose you don't issue a movement order. Well, it diverts engine power to weapons and or shields instead. Not attacking, diverts to shields, etc. This keeps you from needing to fiddle with it for minor adjustments. Automatic power management doesn't make manual management pointless. Consider, I'm low on health, so I'm going to crank up my shields for a while at the expense of I need to be able to maneuver very carefully here, so I'm willing to sacrifice. I am so OP here, let's get this over with quick. Nothing to shields, all to weapons, let's go. And so on. These sorts of larger decisions are the point of the power system, not moment-to-moment fiddling. What was that about better turning arcs? With different engine power levels? Well, see for yourself above. At the default levels, which is what you've had until now, you can move pretty well, but you can move super precisely if you crank it all the way up. You can barely move or turn if you crank it all the way down. Hey, how the heck did you do that curly Q? Waypoints! Simply hold down the shift key while issuing movement orders. You lose a little speed with each curved waypoint, so your total distance goes down a bit, FYI. Are you feeling a little overwhelmed with all this info? Sorry about that, but you do not have to memorize it. You can review it at any time by viewing your logbook in the menu that pops up when you hit the escape key. Alrighty. So now with this new power management ability, we're going to jack up our engine speed so that we can get down here and hopefully start doing some damage. Is that what's this guy? Is he a flagship? I don't think so. carry on. Alrighty, and now that we're here, we're actually going to bump up our weapons. We can kill our engines a little bit here. Bump up our weapons, put some points into the shield. A couple more points into the weapons. I want to kill these guys quickly. So turn like this. We need the energy blaster, and we're going to kill this guy. So how much damage was that to him? 169,000, which is pretty good. So let's go here, and keep shooting. Come on. How many shields does that left? Alright, one more round. Not even that. Actually, I'm wondering if I should just switch over to the gravity lance now. Yeah, let's try it. That might have actually been a mistake. Oh well, his shields are gone anyway, so now it's best to use the gravity lance on him. Alright, he's dead. This guy is the minigun, and I believe he's our last flagship to kill. We're gonna go this way, we're gonna go minigun, and kill him. There we go. Oh, there's some escape pods there. I wanted to pick them up. Alright, the Accustions lost 10 base power, 26 effective power, and 1 armadas in the fighting. Oh yeah, that's one thing to probably mention about this game. This game is very much about numbers. They've put a pretty nice coat of paint on the numbers, but it's still mostly about manipulating numbers. So I took some hull and some shield damage, which doesn't matter because that all repairs up after the battle anyway. I destroyed 29 ships, so woohoo. I got 1,600 credits. The Accustions don't like me too much, but I don't care. And I rescued 12 Accusation pilots. So, all in all, pretty good. Sweet mother of space sheep! It's the solar map! I'm going to introduce you to this gradually. For now, a lot of stuff is hidden. Don't worry about trying to create the Federation yet. We'll get to that later. It's not even an option yet. Right now, you need to worry about gaining credits to spend. And you also need to accumulate a goodly amount of influence with a few races. A humble suggestion is that you start by delivering spacefaring tech to the Skylaxians, Andors, and/or Peltians, and then run some dispatch missions for them to gain more credit. Your current focus should be on making yourself more powerful and influential, and as you complete missions and political deals, I'll open up more and more ways for you to do that, culminating in options for trying to form a fledgling federation. If you want to read this or any other message again, just click your logbook. Okay, so they're suggesting that we start with the what are they called? These guys. Skylaxians, Peltians, or Andors. Alright, so what are these guys? Let's go on the details. Skylaxians. Honorable, perhaps to a fault. Very scientifically advanced, very calm, and able to convince most any race of anything, under the right circumstances. An exceptional foundation upon which to build a federation. But if they don't approve of your actions, you can find them a quick enemy as well. So, yeah, they're like the space moralists, apparently. Okay, so that's them. Those are the Evox, Thoraxians, Burlists, Borines. Here we go, Peltians. No, that's actually kind of pretty. Kind of like an ice field there. Peltians. Communist agrarians. Weak, furry, and rather resembling barn owls. Usually very easy to sway to your wishes, but they are absolutely pathetic in ground combat, and not always the best in a space fight. They are also quite good at suicidally bombing the heck out of enemy planets, though. So there is that. Okay, suicide bombing communist space owls. The joke more or less writes itself there. So there's them. Who was the other ones? Andors? Yes, Andors. What are they like? A utopian society of robots. They are peaceable and benevolent, and will never try to take a planet from another race. They will fight for a variety of reasons, but they can also be relied on to send aid where it is needed. Okay, so you got like the peace-loving robots, and then the jerk-face robots, which are over here. Let's see here. So who do we want to give the technology to start with? Neither of the other two, the Peltians or the Andors, are particularly well suited for their planet. They're not horrible. Like they're not like. Oh wow! Actually, most races in this are fairly well suited to their planet, so it could actually make for a rather interesting game. But to start with, I'm going to give it to the Skylaxians, since they are out of the three kind of cornerstone races, at least according to this. I've never actually completed a game in this, so I just like to point that out now. So I've only ever really played the first, 10 or 20 minutes of this game. But the cornerstone races, or at least the races I view as the cornerstone races, are the Skylaxians and the Andors and the Peltians. And out of those three, they have the best synergy, I guess, with their planet. And that's this number right here, there's 2.4. One or greater is good, less than 1 is bad. This is how compatible the inhabitants are with this planet. Each race is better suited to some planet types than others, and this has a major impact on how well they are able to do, how fast they build things, how well their population grows, and so on. Right-click the planet and hover over this detail row for more information. So we're going to go and we're going to give spacefaring tech to these guys first. Feeling friendly? That's the spirit. If you're going to form a solar federation, you're going to have to make some friends. Credit is a super important concept. This is your social currency, so to speak. Doing things for races that they appreciate, or in some cases doing things that intimidate a race, gain you more credit. You can then spend credit with almost any race to get them to do what you want. Or with mercenaries. Credit is basically money, but it's a little more nuanced than that. But be warned, sometimes there are no friendly actions you can take with a race. Either you don't have anything to offer them, or they simply hate you too much to accept even needing your help. This is one of the many reasons that your influence with races is so important. Depending on the actions you take, your influence with a race goes up and down. High influence makes them more likely to cooperate. Low influence makes them more likely to try to kill you. Alrighty. So we're going to deliver spacefaring tech. That'll give us 5,000 credits. The Skylaxians will really like us. And the Acutians will like us even less. But whatever. I don't think there's going to be any way that we can really form this federation with the Acutians in it. So we kind of need to build a federation around them to either force them to come in or have an army large enough that we can just crush them. One of the two. Oi, okay, so stuff just got real. Maybe. This is either going to be incredibly easy or impossibly hard, depending on how many races are already spacefaring. Just be careful of alerting those spy probes and make your way to the drop zone, and that's it. The turrets all have limited firing arcs, so if you maneuver cleverly, and are a bit lucky, and not many races are spacefaring, you might be able to complete this in just a couple of turns without firing any shots. If that's the case, more power to you. Each one of these gets harder as you go, so enjoy the ease while it lasts. Alright, so where is the drop point? Down there. You can just barely see it on the bottom. So probably the best way to go is to kind of loop around this way. That's what we're going to do. Go. We're going to bump the combat speed up here so we can do this quicker. Alright, so that should get us... Yeah, now we can just kind of go down this side. And we should get through this without alerting any of the spy robots. And... pod successfully jettisoned with technical documents.
The Skylaxians are now spacefaring. They are an advanced species and disapprove of your race's past actions. However, they may just be the key to forming a federation, as their powers of persuasion over the other races are non-trivial.
Oh, thank you, computer. Alright, so that took 9 turns. 5,000 credits. Hey, wait a minute, weren't the Acutians not supposed to like us for this? Let's go check the, where are they? They are... Which one were they? They are these guys right here. Yeah, they're still at minus 102. Okay, so they only really... you only lose influence with them if they catch you. I suppose that makes sense. Alrighty, so here's the thing now that I'm thinking. If you look here, these... What are these? Thoraxians? They're 27 seconds away from getting spacefaring tech anyway. So they're going to get in space here pretty soon, no matter what. And it would be nice if I could make some credits off them. But I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. Well, what type of race are these people? Thoraxians. Monstrous nightmares. Oh wow, we are off to a great start. Each planet is ruled by a hive queen who controls all the workers on her world. They are efficient killers, the most deadly force in the solar system now that the Hydrals are gone. They aren't evil per se, but they have no concept of the value of others' lives. They can be a powerful ally if you manage it, but they are very hard to please. Okay, maybe not the greatest idea to give them spacefaring tech. But as I said, they're going to get into space anyway, and if they're going to be in space, I'd much rather they like me. So let's go do that. Friendly actions, deliver spacefaring. So let's see, if we give them spacefaring tech, they'll like us more. If we get caught, the Acutians will really not like us, and the Skylaxians will pretty much lose everything that we just got there. So we want to be really careful not to get discovered on this one. Let's do this. Oh wow, that was a lot of spy robots. Holy heck, how am I supposed to do this? Okay, it looks like there's a little bit of a corridor coming in back here. So we'll have to take the long way around, but I think we can do this. So let's go this way. So if we circle around this way, hopefully we can kind of get behind all these robots and drop off the spacefaring tech, because I really don't want to get caught here because the influence penalties seem rather extreme. So let's see, we want to kind of start heading up this way so we can sneak in there. I hope he doesn't start shooting. I forgot to set him to not fire. Okay, hold your fire. There we go. Alright, now it's just basically a straight shot right to the drop-off point. Excellent. And there we are. Pod successfully jettisoned with technical documents.
The Thoraxians are now spacefaring. Searching dictionary for a phrase more urgent than extreme danger. Done. Imminent doom is today's advisory.
Okay, thank you, computer. You're not exactly making me feel the greatest about my tactical decisions here, but, okay. Technology tree unlocked. Hey, there's a new button under your basic info tab on the solar map. It shows you what technologies you and all the other races have researched. By the way, don't worry about memorizing all this. You can read it again anytime in your logbook window on the main solar map interface. There's nothing super complicated about the concept of technologies. Once you or a race have a check mark in your column in the tech progression screen, that's it. You know the technology, and you get whatever benefit it confers. There are a lot of different kinds of technologies. Some benefit you, and those ones are grouped at the top of the tech grid. These typically do things like increasing your hull strength, improving your science or manufacturing skills, etc. A lot of them have no direct benefit on you. You're not a planetary power, so you don't need things like safe nuclear power, for instance. But these technologies are of immense value to your allies and enemies. Help your allies get what they need, and you'll be that much closer to forming the Federation. Don't underestimate the power of science. If a race gets far ahead in the number of techs that they have learned, they can absolutely dominate enemy races that have much larger fleets. This takes quite a while though, so having large fleets in the meantime is a plus. How do you fit in? Well, there are now research technology dispatch missions that you can take with most races. The time requirements on most technologies will be too steep for you to research them right now, but that's okay. Once you gain access to the black market, hiring scientific goons to help you in your work will bring even the most expensive techs within reach. Lastly, under hostile actions for each race, you can now raid for technology to steal what you need. To do this, you first have to recruit an informant, which is your general link to the criminal underworld for each race. Except the Andors and Thoraxians, who have no criminals, for very different reasons. One way or another, you need to get techs. Yeah, we need to get techs. So, black armored, female, freelancer. I've been watching a lot of Red vs. Blue lately, sorry. So let me see, that's 5,000 credits. The Thoraxians like us, which is good, because if they're going to be a, monster force in the galaxy, I'd much rather they like us. And nobody knows that we did it, so nobody hates us. Alrighty. Now the question is, do I want to kind of continue down this road of just getting the other races into space? Is that the smart thing to do? See, if I do that, I'm just opening up more and more avenues for wars to break out. Which, if I'm trying to form a peaceful federation, that's not necessarily a good thing. I could bring in... I could bring one of the other two races that it first suggested in, so either the Andors or the Peltians. But maybe for now, it's best to focus on working for one or both of the people I've kind of brought into spacefaring until these guys get a little closer, and then bring them in. I'm hoping what I can eventually do, and I don't know if this is going to be possible or not, we'll find out, but I'm hoping what I can eventually do is use these guys as kind of my administration of the Federation, and these guys as my military arm. I'm not sure if that's the right way to think about this game or not. It's a very unique game. Let's go here. Let's see what we can do for these guys. Let's help destroy a pirate base. So that'll give us 1,000 credits, and everybody else will like us more, which is always handy. So let's do that. Fighting with allies against enemies. Hey, you have some allies, or at least some folks that are neutral to you. Either way, they don't want to shoot you during this battle. Regardless of relationships outside of battles, when there are multiple parties in a particular fight, everyone has specific stances against everyone else, allied, enemy, or neutral. On the bottom left of your screen, you can see little colored indicators showing which races are allied against you, which are neutral, and which are enemies. You can hover over them for more information, and to see how each of them feels about the other races involved in the battle. Just because two races both hate you doesn't mean they aren't also at war with one another. The state on the solo map obviously has a big impact on how everybody lines up here, but so does context. Even if a race normally dislikes you, you've offered to help them fight off attackers. They'll be your ally for the duration of the fight. Why look a gift squid in the tentacles or whatever? Why indeed. Okay, so those are Galaxians, so they're allies. Okay, it's just these things over here I need to take out, as well as the Acutian pirates. So let's start heading down. Oh, let's fix my power situation first. I'm gonna bump up my weapons. Start heading this way. And kill these two things. Oh wow, these guys are fast. Alright, let's keep moving this way and just focus fire these things down. Because these things are the things I need to kill, I think. Yeah, all pirate bases. And this is a pirate base. That's what I need to kill. Let's go this way. I want to add this thing to my list of things to kill, just in case I accidentally move in front of it. Moving on. I'm going to bring the combat speed back down to 1 so that I can actually have a chance to dodge some of these projectiles. So let's keep moving. Oh, there's a escape pod over here, so let's pick that up. And keep shooting. Let's see, keep going this way, keep shooting these guys. How close is this thing to death? Pretty far away, actually. We're gonna power up my weapons even more. Yep, first, okay, yeah. So I basically just need to use the energy blaster on it. There we go, it's dead. Where's the next one? Over there. And we're gonna go minigun, and we'll pump up the shields a little bit, pump up the engines a little bit, and let's go. Let's go. Alrighty, so now that we're closer, we can dump the engines a little bit. We're going to keep the shields where they are just because they're a little low. And then let's go down towards here, switch back over to the energy blaster, add these guys to my list of targets, and go ahead. Now we can just circle around this thing and shoot it to bits. Gotta keep shooting. Alright, so there goes the next pirate base. Oh, and we got some escape pods too. So, as before, we're gonna bump up our engine so we can travel a little faster. We'll loop around there so we pick up the escape pods. And, carry on. Carry on. We'll switch back over to the minigun for now. And auto fire. That way we can hopefully take out a bunch of these little interceptor guys. So let's dump power out of the engine and back into the weapons. Switch back over to the energy blaster. And target the pirate base. Oh wow, that didn't take long. Alright, and now let's get the last pirate base. I'm actually going to increase the combat speed a little bit here. To make this go a little faster. Okay, there we go. That's the pirate base destroyed. Let's see here. Galaxians lost 12 base power and 45 effect. Why'd they lose power? Oh, I guess they must have lost ships in that battle. That's interesting. So how much money did I get? I got 1,000 for the job and then 768 additional credits, so that's actually pretty good. And I rescued 12 Acutians and 4 Skylaxians.
Hey, someone caught the black bubbles. The video feed of this is pretty crazy. You have to come see.
Okay, computer. Apparently there is Facebook in... Spacebook? Yeah, I guess that would be a good name for it. I was going to say Facebook in space. Either way, guys, this is going to be the end of this episode. So the universe as it currently stands, or the galaxy as it currently stands, we have 3 spacefaring races: the Acutians, who hate us, the Thoraxians, which are apparently, incredibly dangerous to have in space, but are anyway, but they like us, so that's a plus, and the Skylaxians, which are space bureaucrats. So, yeah, we'll pick it up from this point on our next episode. Hopefully I'll have thought up kind of the direction we want to take by then. But until then, guys, thank you ever so much for watching, and so long.